Good evening. Welcome to Ball State University. My name is Anand Mari. I serve as interim provost for academic affairs here, and thank you for being here. I'm pleased to introduce Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch. As a lifelong Hoosier, the Lieutenant Governor has spent much of her professional life serving the state of Indiana in civic leadership roles. She served in county roles before being elected to serve as the state representative for House District 78, encompassing parts of Vanderburgh and Warren counties. She then served as Indiana State Auditor before being elected Lieutenant Governor. Statutorily, the Lieutenant Governor oversees a portfolio that includes the Indiana State Department of Agriculture, Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority, Office of Community and Rural Affairs, among others. Additionally, she chairs the Roundtable on Mental Health, the Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Task Force, and for the purposes of tonight, the Civics Education Commission. She has received multiple recognitions and awards for her work, including the Trine University Women of Distinction, Indianapolis Business Journal Women of Influence, Purdue University's College of Liberal Arts Distinguished Alumna, and the Indiana Association of Rehabilitation Facilities Lifetime Achievement Award. And in 2020, after a recommendation of the 2019 Indiana Civic Health Index, the Lieutenant Governor assumed leadership of a Civic Education Task Force. Lieutenant Governor listened to expert testimony from civic education experts from Indiana and around the country in the development of policy changes and recommendations to advance civic education opportunities in Indiana. She has noted that, quote, our democracy depends on a well-informed citizens that are active and engaged in our communities and government at all levels in order to maintain our government of the people, by the people, and for the people. We need to pass down civic knowledge from generation to generation. And under her leadership, the Civic Education Task Force shined a light on the importance of civic education and fostered a collective commitment to make sure Hoosiers have the tools they need to ensure communities and our democracy remains strong. Earlier this year, the National Center for Education Statistics released the civics and history scores for 8th graders from its 2022 report card. Average civic scores declined for the first time since 1998, and fewer than 1 in 4 students were proficient with a level of understanding sufficient to apply the subject, and only 31% tested below the basic level. Those are problems if you don't figure that out by now. And as a result, under her leadership, Indiana has emerged as an example of focused and broadly inclusive approach to this problem. The Indiana Civic Education Task Force recommendations led to Indiana becoming only one of 7 states in the nation in 2022 with a standalone civics course in middle school, which most of you are involved in. Beginning this year, public school corporations, charter schools, and state-accredited non-public schools must include at least 1 semester of civics education. House Bill 1384, which led to the new middle school civic course, passed almost unanimously with bipartisan support and a testament to her leadership. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, and now please welcome Lieutenant Governor Crouch.
Well, good evening. Oh, we can do better than that. Good evening.
Good evening.
It's wonderful to be here for the Center for Economic and Civic Learning, inviting me for your Civic Learning Symposium here at beautiful, beautiful Ball State University campus. And what a gorgeous room. It's wonderful to be with you all. You know, I always like to share a little something about myself that you may not know. So what you may not know is that when I got married 45 years ago, I kept my maiden name, which was really unusual back then. So obviously I'm Suzanne Crouch. Now my husband is Larry Downs. And I thought about hyphenating my name at the time, but Suzanne Crouch Downs. Okay, I thought it was kind of funny. But anyway, I did not grow up in a political home. It's really interesting, and my life's journey has brought me to this position as lieutenant governor because I didn't grow up in a political home. But my parents always voted. I don't recall political discussions growing up, but they impressed upon us the responsibility to vote and to be engaged in the political process. And that upbringing has stayed with me my whole life. And I think it is what ultimately led me to public service. It's just that knowledge that being involved in the process is how you make a difference. And it is why I was honored to chair the Civic Education Task Force because, as you all know, because you're here tonight, we have a problem in this country. And we can never appreciate who we are and where we are if we don't know from where we came and why we came. And so the Annenberg Public Policy Center poll, which was conducted last September, measured a consistent decline in Americans' knowledge of critical civic information. The survey, which was released Constitution Day in 2022, found the first drop in 6 years among those who could identify all three branches of government, and a decline among those who could name the 5 First Amendment rights. Additionally, less than half of U.S. adults could name all 3 branches of government. That was the first decline in 6 years. The Annenberg poll did reveal, however, that in some areas of civic literacy, Americans' knowledge either improved or stayed the same. So taken together, these numbers mean we have a lot of work that needs to be done. But the will and the way to improve civics education and civics mastery is in this room tonight among you. One of the most rewarding experiences I have had as Indiana's lieutenant governor was chairing the Civic Education Task Force. And we did that in partnership with the Indiana Bar Foundation to produce a report on civic education in 2020. Over the course of that year, we heard expert testimony from civic education individuals around the country and Hoosier educators so that we could develop effective policy changes and recommendations to advance civic education opportunities here in Indiana. And one thing that became apparently clear throughout the testimonies was that Indiana will only continue to grow and prosper through an informed and engaged populace. Whether in the classroom or in home or through adult education or the work of civics organizations, we must continue to stress the importance of civic knowledge and engagement. In the Hoosier State, we recognized a need to improve both the delivery and the outcome of civics education effort. And last June, the Indiana State Board of Education approved academic standards for a new middle school civics course. Hoosier students will take civics class during the second semester of 6th grade, including upon citizenship standards in earlier grades. And I want to acknowledge and certainly give credit to Senator Alexander, who is with us. The General Assembly passed legislation that put that in code, that we would have a civics education course in middle school. So thank you, Senator Alexander, for your effort. The new standards focus on instructing students on the foundation of government functions and the role of citizens. The new civics course will begin actually this school year and establish Indiana, as it was mentioned, one of only 7 states with a middle school civic course requirement. I am pleased to know that there are several representatives of local schools here who will be implementing this program, and educating the future of Delaware and Madison counties on the importance of civic literacy. And I am grateful to the teachers who are taking up the curriculum and implementing it in their classrooms, and this will truly make a difference in the lives of your students. And on behalf of the state of Indiana, thank you for your commitment to educating our young people and having a more educated population here in Indiana. It's often said that knowledge is power, but the application of knowledge is even greater power. And the application of the power of civic knowledge is the underpinning of the initiative and the efforts of your local educators. So let us work together to keep this momentum going. We don't want Indiana to be the status quo. We want Indiana to lead the nation. And we only will be able to do it if we have a civic, engaged community and populace. And so thank you for taking the time to be here tonight. And thank you for your efforts to ensure that education is important and it continues, and that we as a state continue to move forward. And so thank you for having me here. Thank you to the Bar Association for your partnership. Have a great evening and have an even better tomorrow. Thank you. Take care. God bless.